Welcome to News with a View, hosted by me, John A. Costa. Today is November 13th, 2025, and today's topic is going to continue with the demise of the Democrats and now the infighting that's going on. I apologize to anyone watching the live feed because I had to start over again due to a malfunction. But Jeffries is probably going to be replaced by, Raskin from Delaware. I believe that's who they would pick. He's been the most vocal out there. I don't think AOC would have a chance of doing that. And who would they replace Schumer with, which are all calling for him to step down, and he won't do that. At least he shouldn't do that. He is the most hands-on guy in the Senate as far as the Democrats, and has the most knowledge, and probably is the only one that could have cut a real deal with President Trump, but he was being, manipulated by the radicals. The radicals have taken over, and I think these 8 senators going over who had no fight going on in 2026, so it was a safe bet for them to do and step into the arena. I think that Schumer and the Democrats are going to take a beating in 2026. I just can't see how they could spin this and blame the Republicans when the Republicans have said all along, open up the government and we'll discuss your issues. And they refused. They refused. The Democrats refused. No, we want it all, or we'll keep it shut down. They even Jeffries had ordered them not to accept the reopening of the government, to keep it shut down. This is by next week, you'll have most of the media swinging, going, well, why'd you do it? Well, we had to do this. And they go, well, no, you didn't, because you could have still had this discussion with them and probably could have had a better discussion. Where they said, hey, listen, okay, you're going to say you're going to talk to us about this and work with us on a solution to this? Well, we're going to keep you to your word. And then if you don't, come November 21st, we're shutting it all down. And we will shut it down. And even this plan up till January 31st, it's a bad plan, and it's a very bad situation for them to be in and find themselves in. The Democrats, Republicans too, to a certain extent, because now if they do negotiate for premiums on the Affordable Care Act, then they've backed down from the president saying, he wanted to scrap it. So, but again, the president really has nothing to lose by going and, fighting. Even though, he trolls about going a third term and doing all this, it's not going to happen. And you have Vance, who will then be able to, have some meat left on the bones So he has something to go into the elections with. I mean, at this point, President Trump is 25% through his term. And he has done a lot in his term. So Trump is going to continue to make headway, and the Democrats can fight him all they like. Really is not going to matter at this point. I really would like to see a budget that would go in for a year, or at least 6 months, so that real issues can be looked at, and not just band-aids. Keep putting band-aids on this. There's no way the Democrats are going to get again out of this in 2026. There's just no way that they'll be able to convince America that this was a Republican, this was the Republicans' fault for the shutdown, where that is absolutely not the case. I think the Republicans are in a much stronger position, and I think if they can neutralize the radicals in the Democratic areas, and tell moderate Democrats to just start stepping up, challenge those people, and the Democrats just aren't doing that. They're just not doing that. It's sad to watch a party like that go down the tubes, and down the tubes is where they're going. There is just no way that they're going to recover in 2026. 2028 is too far away to make any major, predictions. But at 2026, yeah, you can make that prediction. The Democrats who thought they're going to take seats back, that's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. I believe that the Republicans are going to pick up a bunch of seats in the House. And depends on what goes on with the Senate. They'll pick up 2 or 3 seats in the Senate, and then that will really be, they won't have to worry about the filibuster. Even though you need 60 votes to break a filibuster. It'd be great if they could get 7 seats or 8 seats, and then it's smooth sailing. I don't believe that, the nonsense you're hearing from people, more about this, revolution stuff and, civil war. Stop listening to that. Stop listening to that nonsense, and just get back to, your mission, and that's to run the government. You have courts now that have, in Chicago, released a bunch of people, illegals, because they weren't given bail hearings or bond hearings. Not bail, but maybe bond hearing. And I do have a problem with holding people indefinitely. It's not a good idea. It doesn't taste right. It doesn't feel right. Is it legal? Can they do it? Yes. Should they do it? It's a whole different avenue. But you got to start, bonding these people out and making them report, every 2 weeks to a hearing officer, so that they show up at their next meeting. Failure to do so then would be immediate deportation. Can't have it both ways, folks. And if someone wants to pony up $2,000 or $3,000 in bond for the guy or gal, okay, that's fine. That's fine. They get fingerprinted. We at least know who they are, and they came in illegally. They get bond and they go, "How'd you get in this country?" I crossed the border. Well, you're out. It's that simple. That's how simple it should be. The people that are here that were under TPS that now have that revoked, they should have a right to say, "Hey, I want to stay," and I can understand that. I can get there with that. The people that were under parolee, no. There's no such thing. There is TPS language in the policies of immigration. So, did these people hit it? Did they hit all the marks that they needed to hit? I don't know, because it was just you felt unsafe. Well, we'll give you temporary protection status, and no one ever followed up on it. They just blended into the landscape. Well, now they're not. But people that did not come in legally, and I will say that the people that came in through TPS came in legally, and as such received. And now it's gone. Now they might have to reapply for that, and they go, well, that's no longer the case here. You got to go. And then you could apply for immigration back in. It's tough. It's a tough place to be. And, I realize that, and I feel for them, but it's not one of the things where I feel that we should be out there and having to make exceptions for. The judges who are doing this, immigration is, of course, a civil matter. But there are criminalities inside a civil matter that can take place. So I think the targeting of our people in ICE and our government buildings, you should have troops in there to protect them. If the police can't, are unable or unwilling to give protection, unable, they just don't have the manpower, unwilling because the government of that particular state or city said, no, you can't help the federal agencies. Then you're allowed to bring in federal troops. That's absolutely legal. So I think that the Democrats are going to be really put on a spot with a lot of this. And the whole argument of, healthcare was for illegals to get healthcare. And even some Democrats had said that. You had Bernie Sanders out there saying, no, everybody should have it no matter what. They should have it. So, at least he came out and said it. I mean, I can't stand the guy's politics, but as far as him being truthful in what he's saying, yeah, the guy's truthful. The same with Rand Paul. I don't agree with everything Rand Paul has to say. But as far as him being factual in what he says, oh, absolutely. Yeah, Rand Paul. Yeah. When he says something, you should listen to it. You should pay attention to what he says. Uh, you know, Fetterman took a beating, and you know, these senators that crossed ranks over here, they'll be in. Probably Kane will get the least of it out of Virginia, and Mastro and Rosen out of Nevada won't get too badly hurt by it. But some of these people will be hurt. That they'll be called on the carpet. There'll be a price to pay, and it might not be in 2026, but it will be 2028. And like I said, Schumer, I hope he runs. I don't think AOC has the intestinal fortitude to take him on, toe to toe. I think Schumer politically would just shred her to pieces. And, she knows that, and other people know that too, that, that would be a fight that he would love to take on. They would love to shred the radicals because they've just caused so much trouble for the Democrats. Where I think that if you didn't have the squad and you didn't have AOC, and, standing behind a squawking, laughing Harris, it could have been a really good shot that a Democrat could have won. Not Harris, but a Democrat could have won in November. I don't think Newsom was the one, or Beto O'Rourke. I don't think he would have stood a chance. And that's why I said I don't think any of those people stand a chance come 2028. Newsom just has so many political problems and so much baggage that, he might be a good campaigner for someone to go out there and rally up the troops. And the same with AOC. But you'll have another Charlie Kirk out there. This is not over. They murdered Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk was a true problem for the radical leftist communist Democrats. A real problem. He was. They saw him as an up-and-coming major problem. And so they had him murdered. The left is the most violent. We saw that in California. We see it in Chicago. We see it in Minnesota. We see it wherever radicals are. They're violent. Because that's what they do. That's what they do. And I think that under this president, radicals are going to get their asses kicked. Yeah. Like it or not, they're going to get their asses kicked. It's fun watching like Sunny Hostin on The View come up with her takes on the Democratic Party. What an ass. What an ass. Joy Bear, another one. What an ass. Whoopi Goldberg. And of course, Jimmy Kimmel and Colbert, who are now really literally off the scope. You'll have some other ones out there, and then the same thing will happen to them. The networks will say, hey, it was a good ride. The viewership is turning. The sponsors are not really with you on this. Good luck to you in your future endeavors. So, all right. With that, I'm just going to call it a day today. I'm not feeling that good. I don't want to keep on going here and just bash the Democrats. There are things in the Republican Party that need to be discussed, and I'll get on to that tomorrow. Friday's always an interesting day, so I'll do that. Give to a charity. If you don't want to give to a charity, please think about giving to a food bank. Donate clothes in your closets that just sitting there doing nothing. Let that go out and help someone. And we'll, do that. Say a prayer. Prayer works no matter what a Democrat tells you. All right, with that, I'm going to say adios as I fade to